Hey everybody, how's it going? We've got roster video for you guys all today. It's been a bit since we've done one of these, but sign-ups starting to come in. We've got some teams announcing finalization of things. So some of these are old, some of these are new, but primarily we've got roster changes, confirmations, and otherwise for everybody. We even got some people retiring. So without further ado, we're going to go these in order by region to make it nice and easy. Some of these are chronological as well to help out. A handful or two, some surprising and otherwise, but none of these should be too crazy of a spoiler. Moist officially confirming that it is going to be Oli, Rezi, and Joyo. Obviously, Joyo, the original. They still have their coach, Noah. But Oli coming over from that Oxygen team. And then, or no, not Oxygen. Jeez, Oli's coming over from G1. And Rezi, who's been kind of bouncing around trying to find a good spot. The thing I'm probably most excited about is going to be Oli. I don't think Oli's really gotten to flex his muscles. Obviously, came into that heroic team way back in the day with Violent Panda. And I don't think he's ever been able to showcase like a team with proper communication, something that he feels comfortable in. I can tell you from Worlds, he was hanging out with the Moist Boys quite a bit. So hopefully some familiarity, some friendship there, and they can go and build and do something special. Really like this roster. Hopefully it turns into something special. But we all know Joyo's cracked. He's probably going to take a lot of the attention. But do not count Oli out. Very good, and Rezi's a solid third. So we'll see how it plays out. Up next, you've got Goffs and some of the other guys that were in that area as well, hanging out with the Oxygen Boys. But you got Goffs, Prime, and Alums. This team could play upset. This is a team that I would recommend paying attention to. That honestly, if you run into them in the open qualifier stage, you might get surprised. Do not take this team lightly. There is some talent. Goffs has been grinding as well. Good kid though. We got to hang out with Goffs a little bit during Worlds as well. Up next, the one that everybody's been waiting to see. There was conversations about what it was going to be. The rumors initially were Astral Cash and Extra. That is no longer the case. Ivan is no longer with Caliente. He is bringing it over. So it's Astral Cash and Ivan with Fruity as coach. That one should be a lot of fun. This team, I think, is pretty easy to root for. This is a team that I think, again, their name is Redemption. It's basically another Leftovers 2.0, 3.0, whatever iteration we're on. But this team, a lot of talent, a lot of experience. Can they figure it out? Can they keep level-headed? Can they come in with composure? Double elimination's going to cause for some upsets. This is a team that I would not want to run into. This is a team that if I don't have any experience playing against them, that I don't know what to expect, they terrify me. This is an open bracket killer. I'm telling you guys right now, watch out for this team. They will shock some people 100%. I'm looking forward to it. This is a team that's going to cause a lot of upsets, especially if they haven't been grinding threes. I don't know what their ranks are, but their MMRs may be low. They may have to play some tough matchups early and play some surprise. So we'll see how it goes. I don't think they were planning on announcing this, but overall, they ended up having a leak come out. So what can you do? Up next, because we saw Ivan no longer be on Caliente. Caliente has to update their roster, and they're bringing in Growly from Hogan mode. So I actually really like this. Dying has been getting a lot of love lately. Sizen never really got that attention after his first iteration and the teams he was playing on. With the initial iterations of like Vitality, BDS, all that kind of stuff. Was kind of kicked to the curb and was the first one to take the dip with Zen. So hopefully he bounces back. Fingers crossed on that one. Up next, over to North America. These are some are old and outdated, as you guys know. The Incorrect roster. Obviously, we see Terror, their owner, in chat quite a bit, but Incorrect is picking up a team with quite a bit of potential. Flitz, Tool, and Angel. This is the old 0-2-1 roster. Even Evil, same coach. And bringing in Flitz, who used to be with Gaming Gladiators. This team has also done some pretty solid results. Scrims are going better than what I've seen for others, but can they do it when it matters most? This is the epitome to me of like a bubble team that can surprise. We've seen it so many times with these teams where people do not have an expectation. They play a solid game, can keep that solid game consistent. That is going to be the question for this team. I know they're capable of winning matches. That's not surprising. Can they do it when it matters most, when everything is on the line, when expectations are set? That's what I'm interested to see. So, Incorrect is a team that we'll keep an eye on. Maybe they make top 16. Maybe they'll be right on the cusp. But to me, top 32. This should be top 32. Shocking one as well. Drees, as you guys know, came in to replace Rizzo originally on the G2 roster. Bounced around a little bit. Played for Dignitas. Was supposed to play on a team called The Boys with Drees, Percy, and I forget their third. I know they tried out JNAPS at one point, and then I forget who the third was supposed to be. Maybe Gyro, before Gyro was assumed to go to the team that he's going to. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Drees has decided to retire. He's done. And I think ultimately, like, he is at the age where this kind of works out. Like, do I think Drees is fully capable? 100%. How much has he actually been playing? What are the hours? There's always been things that are subject to question. But as a player, like, the talent is there. And even if he's not further pursuing, he was put in a privileged situation where he earned some pretty good money. And at 17, 18, he can now go and basically pay for his college education and use his tournament winnings, his salary, whatever. He gets a real big leg up in life. So as much as I think he still has a lot to give, and if given the right structure and guidance and stuff like that, he could turn into something special, I don't blame him. It's stressful being a pro. We've talked about this. If you guys haven't seen the video, I talk about Arsenal and his expression on the whole thing. It's not easy. So yeah, Drees is retiring. Pretty crazy stuff. Up next, we just kind of alluded to it, but with Gyro, looks like Gyro is going to be joining Arsenal again after a 5-year hiatus. You know, those guys started together and now they're running it back with Evo on Dignitas. If you guys didn't see the recent results, I personally love Gyro. Gyro's a homie. He's always been super fun and super nice to me. Gyro's a great kid. I'm so happy to see him get away from the situation that he's kind of been stuck in. Primarily, Gyro was brought over when he was on that Rogue roster with First Killer, and Rogue's intention didn't feel like it was ever to win. It was to basically find a way to get buyouts on contracts and make money. It's always what it felt like out of Rogue. So Gyro kind of was like, hey, we have a chance to build something special here. This First Killer kid's really good. Maybe we can turn it into something. And then like, no, go to FaZe. We're going to take a bunch of money on this buyout. So Gyro was always kind of given teams and players that really never suited him, it feels like. And I think this team has unselfish maturity, some young talent. I think this team has some potential. In the most recent tournament on Bandits on Wheels, they won the tournament. They dropped 1 game. There's potential here. Love Arsenal and what he's doing in his career. I love his play style. The only concern I have is Gyro's got to build that ego, man. He's got to believe he's good enough to carry a team. We've seen Arsenal do it at LANs. Gyro's got to understand he doesn't have to be third in rotation. He doesn't have to be the back seat. He can play aggressive. He can use his mechanics. He can show up. So I'm rooting for him. I think this is honestly one of my favorite teams. Violent Panda, their coach, obviously is buddies, even though he won't admit it. I asked him if this was the roster and if he was going to leak it. And he's like, maybe I'm playing. And I'm like, but you're shit. You're not playing. And he's like, 1v1 me. And I'm like, beating me in a 1v1 doesn't prove anything. Long story short, Gyro is going to Dignitas. That's what I would like to believe. They originally were playing with Aris. I don't know exactly what happened there. But it seems like Gyro's been a good fit. Bringing some veteran experience. It's been playing out well. So I actually really like this team. I think this team's got a lot of potential. Up next, we've got ZeniL. He has announced that they are committing to Omelet. Part of the reason why this is because you got a team that ended up losing. You know, you lost a player. So Percy and Drees were going to be a duo. Drees is retiring. What does that mean for Percy? They're going back to kind of what they know. And Omelet's proven to be pretty competitive. They're taking teams like Space Station to 5. Like, they've been solid. Another team that I would hate to play for like a top 16 spot. To me, expect these guys top 32 no matter what and fighting for a spot to make it into qualification. Omelet's got potential. I'm really liking this team. I think there's a lot of potential here. Things to learn. Definitely need to shift the play style into something a little bit more new generation. But early foundation, I think, is solid. Up next, the big one that everybody's talking about. Squishy Muffins is retiring. For those that do not know, Squishy basically put out a really long post. And again, you guys can go check this out on his Twitter. But he basically mentions like, hey, I'm going to give it one last hurrah. We're going to play one more split. The guys know. I'm appreciative of it. I've had a crazy career. I'm going to focus on content. So Squishy will be playing in the first split. He's going to play in 3 regionals and obviously the major if they make the major. And then he's done. He's hanging it up. So talks about the frustrations of trying to secure an organization. You know, we were within a couple weeks of signing with an org multiple times. The state of the industry, all this kind of stuff. I'm very interested on what becomes of his content. What he does when he goes full-time with it. I'm sure he's going to do watch parties and streams. He was playing like Lethal Company last night and pulled like 1,000 viewers. I don't know if that's the hype off of, hey, you just announced you're retiring and we're all coming to support, or if that's going to be the standard. But Squishy's always put pretty good numbers. He's got a crazy YouTube support. So what happens when it's full-time? That's what I'm interested in. What's the evolution of Squishy's career going to be? That's what I'm excited to find out. So they will be competing under the Muffin Men with Gimmick and Aqua for one split at least. And then do those two stick together and find a third? We'll have to wait and see. Up next, finally confirmed, we do have the OG roster coming in. It is going to be OG officially for Torment's minions. They do announce Torment as coach as well. He's excited to step into a new role and everything else. But you got not only JNaps and Com. You guys have heard me speak about this, my involvement at one point, all that kind of stuff. But this should be an interesting one. I think JNaps still has so much left to give. I think Com still doesn't get enough attention for what his playstyle can be. You know, he used to be the hard carry for V1 before we saw Beast Mode come in. And now he's jack of all trades. You saw what he did with K-Corp. This team's got potential. I think they could do something special. My biggest concern, though, is their offense. Their offense has been pretty cookie cutter. It's been a little generic. Creativity. Gotta mix it up a little bit. But their sustained offense is scary. Their defense is good. Should be fun to watch. Over to South America. We've got a new org coming in. HeroBase that is picking up cost drops and SAD. A little bit of firm handshakes and adjustments for some of the SAM team. SAM looks like there's like 6 or 7 really solid teams that I'm excited to follow. I really like SAD as a player. Drops is really good too. Klaus, I don't know enough about, but I do know this team will be competitive. It should be fun. Up next, we've already talked about this in detail. This is kind of a second like iteration of it, but Crew is looking to sign a super team. Obviously, we've already talked and discussed about the involvement of their owners and their investments and all that kind of stuff with pro football players and stuff. But it looks like this deal is finalized, or is at least looking to become finalized. So expecting an announcement soon about these teams, but Card, Bems, and AJG. That looks like it could be a super team. Looks like it could be really good. Expect more soon. True Neutral has also announced their roster. If you guys don't remember the True Neutral team, this is a team that was originally the team from South America before they became Complexity. But True Neutral has picked up a new roster. Shad, Sek, and RMN, and Curse KRS is their coach. I'm not familiar with the other ones. Obviously, we know Shad. Shad has had a lot of history in the scene. Interested to see how it goes. I can't say I have enough information about their results, playstyles, expectations, but I'm sure they'll be somewhere in the top 10. It would be surprised not to. So we'll see how it plays out for them. Up next, we've got RuleOne, as you guys know, officially announcing their roster as well, and they're running it back. Ahmad and Okhalid back together on RuleOne, which used to be Sandrock Origins. Cool to see that. Cool to see RuleOne coming in with a team that I think has a ton of potential, a lot of experience, and they're adding the young gun in Nupo, Nobo, however you say his name. A lot of talent and potential. There was a lot of conversation about how he wasn't actually going to play this season due to personal things. He had some issues with health concerns and traveling and school and all that kind of stuff. Sounds like that is not an issue. So I think this roster's got a ton of potential. I talked to Cresper, who I love and adore as their coach, and was just like, you know what? What's your intentions? And I'm like, hey, man, this is like basically should put up a good fight for top 2. And he's like, we're not focused on top 2. He's like, it's one or done. Like, if we are not the best, what's the point? And I'm like, love that mentality. So a lot of love for this team. Excited to see them go and compete. RuleOne, I think, is doing it right as well. Don't know if we're going to see Sunless come back or what that situation is going to look like, but obviously a very easy team for me to root for. It's going to be one of my favorite teams to root for, without a doubt. And last but not least, casters. We've been updating you guys on the caster situation. Casters being laid off. There's now officially 6 casters that have been laid off total. Jorby, Achieves, Spaceman, Subi, Turtle, and Corelli. Those are the 6 casters that are not returning to the RLCS that we know of so far. Gibbs also has announced that, hey, please support the commentators. Also, I've been given an opportunity to be there as a talent manager or someone that is going to help with behind the scenes. So Gibbs is being given an official role for just the first split to help be the talent lead. He is there to help with behind the scenes stuff, scheduling, communication, all that kind of stuff. I don't know how much more detail. I talked with Gibbs privately. I don't know how much of it's being made public, so I'm not going to share anything additional outside of that. But Gibbs will have involvement in the RLCS. So that is one of the first confirmations to get of people who will be back. So it is crazy, man. It is crazy seeing some of all these changes. I figured if we're talking roster changes for players, we might as well bring up the casters as well. So again, a lot of roster stuff. Hopefully that's an all-encompassing and tells you everything you need to know about what's going on, and we'll try to bulk these together. Signups are now live. I haven't seen any new teams really that we should mention that haven't been mentioned already. So I'll keep an eye on signups and stuff on the Star GG page and keep you guys up to date on those. But that's going to do it. Any other questions, comments, concerns, let me know. If you guys have new rosters, drop them in the comments as well. or feel free to come discuss them on the stream, twitch.tv/Lawler. But with that said, if you guys enjoy the content, like, subscribe, notifications, you guys know what to do, and we'll see you in the next video.